March 2nd, 2018. Well, they said we might get rain and it might switch to snow, and they weren't sure. It could be a blizzard, it could just be rain. Well, as it turns out, it went from rain over to snow about 2 or 3 a.m. and it's been snowing continually. I guess you can see that the wood pile's got a pretty good amount of snow on top of it. Trees are coming down all over the place. Snap, crackle, and pop. One just came down on my neighbor's roof. It's really crappy out. Not happy about it. I was liking the warm weather we were getting and the spring-like stuff. But here we are back in the snow. But it is a good opportunity to test out the new solar system in the greenhouse. And sure enough, I came out here and the greenhouse is warm from the thermal mass, and the solar power is running, and it's not too bad in here. So I have no real complaints. I have my health, I have my friends and family, I have my life, and I have a warm place to go. So I'm grateful for that. Been working in the greenhouse pretty hard lately, getting ready to wire in the relays that will control fans, lights, etc., ventilation, all that sort of stuff. You can see there's an 8 relay board right there, and a terminal block next to it for where I'm going to interface all the wires from sensors and relays before they come into, yes, the new box, the new Raspberry Pi box. I think I'm going to wire that in this afternoon, since there's not much else I can get done with power off and the threat of trees coming down on my head at the house. So I think I'm going to stay here in the greenhouse and work a little bit. And oh, look at that, battery's getting low in the camera. I'll have to charge it on the USB charger here on the solar panel setup. Anyway, sorry I'm a little scattered, just a lot going on. I'm actually in the middle of getting water and food to the chickens. No water in the house, so I had to come out here and hit the barrels and use the barrels to refill the chicken watering setup. Can't have our chickens being out of water. And so this is the new box that we're setting up. It's mounted right to the bottom of this keyboard board here. The monitor, when I get a new monitor to go back in here, will go up here. And so the Raspberry Pi is now going to be mounted in here. That's an old Pi with the new interface board on it. And so yeah, so there's some wiring to do, but I might switch that over this afternoon. I'm gonna dig the inverter out of the truck and see if I can get the monitor to fire up on this, so I can make sure I have sensors connected correctly and all. Anyway, it was nice to come back in here and find the power on and the heat on and things carrying on despite the power being out. The whole concept here initially was to put in an uninterruptible power supply just as a short-term solution for when power went down. But when I looked into it, doing that was about half the price of switching right over to solar. So I decided to just switch over to solar entirely. And I know I'm getting long-winded here, so I'm going to end this clip for now. Depending on the progress I make, I may shoot some more video of this today. If not, thanks for watching the Pharmacies Network. Alright, well, I charged the camera up off the solar system. Gotta say, that's a nice little feature to have built into a charge controller. 2 USB charger outlets. Here we are in the greenhouse. It's about 30 degrees out, as far as I can tell. It's blowing, gusting, 30, 40, 45 mile an hour gusts. Trees coming down, our power lines are down, the grid is down. You can see the supplemental lights are all off. Yeah, no AC 110 power coming in from the grid. Everything we're doing here is on solar and thermal mass storage for heat and a wood stove. Fortunately, we do have the wood stove in the greenhouse. This is an excellent opportunity for me to actually test my resilience up against a grid down situation. I'm not one of the preppers sort of people. I'm not like rabid about it, but I am very much a preparation-minded person. A lot of that comes from my parents and from my raising, and some of that comes from Boy Scouts and other mission-critical stuff I've done, including missing persons work and that sort of stuff. And you really need to be ready for any situation at any time. And so I always try to think with that in mind. So I started digging through my archives. Let me turn this music down here. Because I realized I wanted to charge my batteries. I woke up to turn on my my handheld ham radio today, which is my primary means of communication when the grid is down. And one of the batteries was dead. I had left it on overnight. This one here. So fortunately I have a spare battery. My ham friend who gave me this radio gave me a spare with it because he thinks a lot like I do. So Dave, thanks for that. That's a lifesaver. And also this radio does AC or DC charging. I thought you needed a special adapter cable. I never really looked into it. This is an excellent opportunity to look into it. And sure enough, it'll take a DC 12 volt regular barrel jack. Now, since I didn't have one handy and I didn't feel like digging through all my archives of parts, I took one of the old Bofang radio chargers and just clipped the brick off it. I'm going to wire that in to power the charger for the HT. So that'll put my handheld radio back on charge. I do have a DC charger for AA and AAA rechargeable batteries. I use these for my headlight and for my GPS and all that sort of mission critical kind of stuff. This one, however, is a 110 volt charger, and I don't know where I stuck the DC charger. It might be buried in the truck in the go pack, but I don't feel like digging for it in the wicked snowstorm and getting snow all over everything. So I'm going to use this. I dug out my big inverter out of my truck. It's a 400 watt. I call it my big inverter because it's the only actual inverter I have. And you can see it'll do 800 watts peak and 400 watts continuous. I don't know what the standby power draw is on this, but I am going to hook this up tonight and we're going to find out because I'm curious. And of course I could run the monitor for the Pi as I'm doing the rewiring here and all that sort of stuff off it. I had forgotten in my laptop bag I always carry a spare mini inverter, and it's only 150 watts, so it's nothing massive. In fact, it won't even run my laptop while it's charging. It'll only do charging, but it is handy when you need to recharge. So I think I'm going to try this. I haven't wired in the I have a three outlet cigarette lighter outlet adapter that I plan to wire into this system. I haven't wired that in yet, but I think we got a good motivation to do that now because that's what this takes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wire that in and plug this in, and we'll put these batteries for the headlight on the charger so we'll have light. And I'm going to go ahead and wire this into 12 volts and get the other radio battery charging so we have communications ongoing. And we're going to go ahead and do some more wiring here in the greenhouse. I had planned to wire this today. I was really hoping to have the nice brilliant white fluorescent lights behind me. Makes it real easy to see wires and stuff, but it looks like I won't have that luxury tonight. Either way, I want to cover some ground, so I'm going to carry on here. I guess at the moment I'll just show you quick. It looks like we're drawing about 5 watts. Basically we're just running the Pi and the audio amplifier, and you can see we've been logging data for about 3 days, 17 hours and 6 minutes, and in that time we've used about 1009 watt hours. On the other side, the charge side, you can see we've charged 58.35 amp hours or 841.56 watt hours. Normally these are pretty close to each other over the last couple days, but of course today with the snow and the clouds and the snow on the solar panel, we didn't take any charge on today. So we're running on yesterday and the day before's charge still, and hopefully that'll carry us through. I think it will if I'm conservative. What else? Oh, one of the reasons I mounted the solar panel where I did, if you saw the previous video, you'll see that the solar panel is mounted right over top of where the stove is. That's so the stove can defrost the panel when I fire the stove up, and that saves me having to climb up there and brush it off or whatever. Just get the stove going nice and hot, and that melts all the snow off the panel, and then as soon as the sun comes out, we can go back to charging. And yeah. So I know I'm getting long-winded again. I just had a lot I wanted to cover and discuss. I hope you all are thinking about survival situations. You never know. You never know when things might suddenly change on you, be it weather or a CME, coronal mass ejection, could take down the grid, an earthquake, a tsunami, a tidal wave, down the list. I'm not trying to be morbid or anything, but you do need to be prepared for unexpected circumstances. So it felt really good when I woke up and found that the power was off, and you know, nothing was working inside. I couldn't bring on the computer, couldn't look at the internet, couldn't check out the weather forecast, none of that. It felt really good to be able to come out here and bring my handheld radio and flip over to the weather frequency and listen to the forecast and see when this is going to end, and have music and power and be able to do all sorts of things like we need to do. I guess one other thing I'll show you here, I bought these LED lights for the greenhouse for when I'm in here working. Those will be the replacements for the fluorescents, or at least I think they will. So I'm just going to plug in the spade connector here that gives those juice. So now we have one of the two LED lights on. I just temporarily wired it on a sort of an extension cord, so I have a second work light in here. And I guess I'll shut my headlight off so you can see that it's pretty bright. It's pretty nice. So I can work under that. That's just one of two lights. I think they said these lights were 10 watts each, and looks like we're drawing 12 from 5. It looks like they're about 7 watts apiece, but I'd actually rather have it 3 less watts. That's less power to burn. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this solar system is working really well so far, and this is a great opportunity to test it and see if we can really survive off-grid situations. And so far it looks like we can. So enough of my blabbering and all. I hope you found this video informative, helpful, or interesting. If you haven't and you know someone who has, or who would find it interesting, please pass it along to them. Thanks for watching the Pharmacist Seeds Network. If you'd like to, subscribe, and if you like this video, please like. So thanks again. Well, here we are. It's been about 20 minutes, and I've rigged up the charger for the radio. I know I didn't show you the radio before, so I guess I'll just show you that quick. This is the Waxon KG UV8D Plus. It's an amateur radio transceiver. And there's our repeater ID. It's an amateur radio transceiver, but it's very frequency agile. It's designed for the 2 meter and 70 centimeter bands, but I can also listen on all the other frequencies, including weather frequencies and that sort of stuff. Yeah, as well as police and fire and all that sort of stuff if I want to or need to. And I guess I just wanted to show I got the inverter rigged up. I didn't feel like running all the wires. I'm not sure how where I want to set this adapter up yet. So I just tapped in off the the load side of the charge controller, because that has a low voltage disconnect, and because it'll handle 20 amps in current. And I got the mini inverter running on that, charging the batteries for the headlight. And interesting to note, this inverter is well, charging the batteries, it's drawing about 11.2 watts, and if I take the batteries out, it goes down to 5 watts. So it looks like this inverter standby power is 5 watts for the portable. So I don't know, I just thought I'd add that little detail in here while I'm going over this sort of stuff. I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Well, it's somewhere around 8:30. Been back and forth doing a few different things around here. I rigged up the LED lights in a temporary situation for now, so I can work in this corner and reconfigure the wires here for the Raspberry Pi and hook up the relay board to the interface board, the terminal interface board there on the right. And so anyway, I basically just rigged this LED light. I just rigged off of the fan power because I have to run the fan right now to circulate the heat, the warm air, keep it nice and uniform in here and warm. So I figured I'd just rig off of that, and also that gave me a hanging bracket that put the light right where I wanted it for tonight. Eventually this and the other LED light, which is currently mounted right there, that one will probably stay somewhere around there. The other one will go on the other side pointing the other way, and that way we can illuminate the whole greenhouse with two lights. At some point I'm probably going to put in a push button. Well, I found this in a scrap pile. It's a handicap door thing. So I think I'm going to put that just inside the door. It's a momentary push button switch, and rig that to the Pi, and then I'll be able to toggle one light or the other light or both. Woo! Yeah, that's that 45-mile-an-hour gusting wind we're talking about. It's scary out there tonight. I have massive pine trees right by the place where I live here, and so I'm trying to spend my time in the greenhouse where I don't have massive pine trees looming over me until the winds die back. I'm told by radio that will be around midnight. It'll go back down to around 19 miles an hour sustained, and that we can handle. Anyway, I get interrupted by that crazy gust, but yeah, so the LEDs are rigged up, and I'm sorry if this video is a little bit longer and I blabber a little bit more, but I just have a lot of information I want to share. Let's see, we'll disconnect. You'll notice I have the charger going here with the radio battery, and I charged up my my rechargeable batteries. I took the inverter off for now, take the power load off. I guess I'll give you a shot of the wattage here. Right now we're pulling 23.46 watts. That's with the Raspberry Pi going, the music playing, the DC 12-volt fan and light here up to my upper left going. And now we'll pull the charger off quick. And you can see that took us down to 17. And then I'll plug this other light in on the fuse panel here. I just got them hooked in with the spades for now. March 3rd, 2018. Well, power finally got restored a little before 9 p.m. tonight. I'm not sure where the camera died on me, but I was given a tour of everything in here. So I guess what we'll do is kill the 110 AC feed, and now you can see what we got running here. And I'll pull the charger off and put both the LED lights on. If I can figure out where the other one is here. That's not it. There it is. There we go. And I guess I'll finish giving the tour I was trying to give. So, turn my headlight off. Yeah, so got a light right there and a light right there. I basically just used that light to carry on with the work I was doing here. We're switching things over. I did manage to get the new relay wired in. Not inside the box yet, but now that I have internet back, I can pull up the GPIO ports that I need to wire to. And I'll probably do that tomorrow because I'm kind of tired tonight. I was going to do it tonight, but I don't think I am now. And I switched all the sensors over from the rat's nest here that everything was tied into. That was some rat's nest. And now everything's joined together here. This isn't the final installation, but it's an evolution toward a cleaner wire run here. And you can see everything comes right into the terminal interface there. And then this gray wire here on the left, this guy right here, is the feed that comes into the pie, which is now actually mounted in the box and operational, with the Alchemy GPIO board on it. All the sensors are wired in through that now. So the pie has been installed in its actual box now, and now we're going to carry on and build out the rest of the infrastructure, remote controls for irrigation and all that sort of stuff, lights, fans, etc. So we came through with the power outage of I don't know, about 30 hours or so, I think, all total. It went off around 11 a.m. yesterday. Came back around 9 tonight. It might not be 30 hours. I don't know. I don't really don't much feel like doing math at the moment. But we came through, managed to run the soldering iron and the monitor for the Pi off of the inverter that I showed in the earlier part of this video. I was able to plug that in. I also went back and actually wired this DC outlet in. I used a soldering iron to solder on the DC outlet while it was powering the inverter. That was interesting. And so it's all hooked up and running still. You can see we're a little low on voltage and battery power. According to the discharge meter, we've got about 40% of the battery left, and we're at 11.89 volts. But I burned a lot of power last night and today charging batteries and that sort of thing, and running the monitor and running the soldering iron to get things wired up. And last forecast I looked at says it might be cloudy tomorrow. I'm hoping for some sun, but either way I think we'll be able to recover our banks at least enough to carry on with the Pi data logging and that sort of stuff. And fortunately we have regular grid power back for other operations. Anyway, just wanted to follow up. It's good to be prepared for emergencies. It makes all the difference. It was nice that I was able to use the radios and ask about forecasts and projected power restoration times and all that kind of stuff over the ham radio. So this is a good exercise, and it has made me re-examine my power consumption, power usage, and reliance on power. And yeah, some good lessons are learned, and I'll carry them forward in future upgrades. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it's a little bit long. Had a lot to cover, a lot of little pieces. Anyway, thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not, and if you'd like to like it or subscribe.